We probably didn't have it contemporaneous at that time because we certainly didn't have a whole lot of activity also. I told him we did not have it for him. I did say we have it Friday, and he came back Friday and received it.
And there was an occasion when Mr. Grabsky, I think, asked for this document, and you didn't provide it.
That's correct.
Okay. And your reason was that you thought he was not eligible?
Florida Statute 101.62.3.
Now you provided the, did you provide the canvassing board with a copy of this document?
I don't recall if I did. I mean, may have been.
Well, they had a document with the absentee voters in it, did they not?
I believe so.
In order to do the canvass. You don't recall what it was?
No, I don't think so.
Now, the canvassing board did not compare the number of absentee ballots in its possession with the number of requests that you received, did it?
Other than the fact that it was announced that we had received X number of requests and we sent out X number of ballots, received X number of ballots back, 7 of which had been doubted by the supervisor. That's the way we went about that. That's how we did it.
And you had no list with the name of the absentee voter, the date of the request, and the date the ballot was returned.
That's the one we're talking about here.
That's it.
Right, and that's something that I
Did not provide.
right.
On the provisional ballots. Now, those 4 electors who cast those provisional ballots were not notified that their provisional ballots were not counted, were they?
I don't believe there were.
Are you aware that the law provides that a rejected provisional ballot voter shall have 3 days after the election to establish the legitimacy of the ballot?
Yes, the provisional voter shall have up to 3 days to establish
the legitimacy of the ballot.
but they will have that.
They will have that.
Yes, I believe with that part.
But there was no attempt to comply with that statutory right of these ballotters.
You said that they had up to 3 days.
Yes,
To validate that.
that's correct.
Okay.
And you have the obligation to notify them
Them of what?
that their provisional ballot has not been counted.
If that's the case, then yes, I did not do it.
Okay. It didn't happen at any rate, was it? Okay. And the same thing with the provisional touchscreen ballots. I understand we have a dispute about that, but there was no statement made to them Of course, their ballots were counted, so there would be no requirement to tell them. Now, if you go back to Plaintiff's Exhibit 12, page 86, this is a report from the Supervisor of Elections of Alachua County stating that she could not certify the signatures of 9 persons that you had sent signatures of. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Is it true that ultimately the canvassing board accepted 7 and rejected 2?
They did.
And the canvassing board also accepted the ballot of Mr. Watson?
Yes, they did. It was part of the opening. It's in here. The ballots in here.
Now, did anyone notify the 2 rejected absentee voters that their absentee, did you notify the 2 rejected absentee voters that their votes had been rejected?
I did.
To your knowledge, did anyone else?
Not to my knowledge, I do not know.
That would have been, if that were required, it would have been your job to do it, wouldn't it?
It would have been my job. Yes.
Okay. Now, how did the canvassing board determine to certify the votes of the 7 that the canvassing board accepted?
I personally verified that they presented to me valid identification as required by law to cast a vote in the state of Florida.
So you did it, the canvassing board based its decision on your statement.
I witnessed each and every one of these people. I mean, they're presenting.
What did you witness?
I witnessed their presenting me their identification. And then after that, I gave them their ballots, they voted the ballots. It became part of the entire total.
I understand that, but did you witness their signatures
The signatures
on the ballot?
On the envelope.
Yes.
Yes, because not one would mail it back. It was all done at City Hall.
So you were able to remember these 7 from the number that you have here, and personally identify and vouch for those 7. Is that correct?
No, vouch for these 7. I testified that I, in fact, checked their identification and did personally witness the fact that they signed the envelopes that they sealed, and I put them into the absentee ballot box. Did the canvassing board canvass their signatures against the record in the Supervisor of Elections office? What she sent back to me,
Yes.
what you sent a copy of, side by side with the actual envelopes themselves, I took them up there and They discussed it and looked at it.
And the canvassing board looked at them one by